Hi my pretties, today we're carrying on with our twinsies reviews and we're going to be looking at Masterpiece Ultra Magnus and Masterpiece Delta Magnus. We're going to have a look at how the figures stack up, how they transform, how they work. They are completely identical in terms of mold. The only thing that differentiates them is actually their coloration. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the big UM here, and we're going to take you through all the details and intricacies of his lovely sculpt. So, starting with this fellow, let's give you a little tour quickly all the way around him. He's in scale with the newer Masterpieces, not the original ones. So, for example, the original MP-01 Convoy is about the same height as Masterpiece Magnus, when in actuality, if they were to be to scale, Magnus should be probably head and shoulders taller than Prime. He's a big boy. Big boy. So that's a little tour all the way around. And as far as the details go on this guy, he is absolutely lovely. So we have a very Ultra Magnus-y head going on here. And as always with these things, it's a delightful sculpt. He comes with some optional faces that store in his backpack, off back here. But yeah, that's Magnus, alright. Absolutely lovely head sculpt. Very nice indeed. Magnus's chest, and if you'd notice going on in there, there's a little space to store the smaller size Matrix of Leadership, the same one that comes with Masterpiece Hot Rod or Rodimus. We have a nice little detail here. That's not actually a tampograph, that's a raised little Autobot symbol, so it's bumpy, which is nice. And of course, Magnus has his iconic shoulder cannons on each side, and nice big chunky Ultra Magnus boots down the bottom. So if you remember the original toy, it was, an absolute brick. There was no articulation in anything except his arms. But yeah, this guy has exactly all the articulation you'd expect. Let's talk you through a couple of his special little features. So his shoulder cannons here, you can twizzle them all around, and with a little bit of effort, you can detach the missiles so they can fire. Ooh. They're not spring-loaded, they just stick in place, which means they're a little bit tricky to get out, but you know, it's totally doable, totally doable. Let's have a little look-see-loo here at his chest, and exactly as it does in the Transformers film, you can get in here and open up this sort of T shape, and then you have a little pair of doors that open up there, and you have a matrix cavity all ready to go. Isn't that nice? And as I say, that will fit the matrix that comes with Masterpiece Rodimus Prime. Let's close that back up. Close that back up too. And this just tabs in down the bottom. There we go. Nice big click. He has articulated fingers. His thumb doesn't move. His index finger does move. The rest of his fingers are all bolted together and they do move, so it's not entirely like you get with some of the more recent Masterpieces where it's just all the fingers together on one big hinge. The index finger's separate for reasons? I don't know, but yeah, there's no knuckles or anything like that. They can only bend here. And here you have Masterpiece Magnus's laser pistol gun rifle thingamajig. Isn't that nice? Cool. Let's talk you through some articulation. Firstly, as already demonstrated, you can spin his head all the way around 360 degrees. He can look up, yay much. He can look down a tiny amount. And as with many Transformers, he runs into the problem of massive cleavage, so we couldn't actually see anything even if he did look down. When it comes to his shoulders up here, they can spin all the way around, full 360. They can, gotta be careful not to engage his transformation joints, but yeah, they can splay out a little bit like that. We've got a nice big ratchety elbow going on there. Aforementioned fingers are augmented by a wrist swivel, which is nice. If we come here, he does not have any sort of ab movement, so you can't twist him at the tummy or anything like that. And that's to do with his transformation. When it comes to the legly wagglies, let's get his arm out of the way. And comes to the leglies. They can go up about yay much. So it's like 45 degrees-ish. It's a little bit tricksy, and yeah, that's about as far as it goes. For me, you can do just under 90 degrees, so he's poseable, but not amazingly poseable. But you know, I think it's fine, it's good enough. It's definitely good enough. Hold him back up. There we go. And on the back here, is where we keep all the extra faces. So they do nice things like give you a version with yellow eyes, illustrated here. So the original toy had yellow eyes. You've got a blue-eyed version that looks like it's yelling, and so on and so on. It's nice we've got them, and it's really nice that they can squirrel away like that. Fun fact about these two, this guy, Delta Magnus, is actually Ultra Magnus's original Diaclone colors. So you remember the original toy of Ultra Magnus, how it's like a trailer and then basically a little white Optimus Prime tractor pulley thing up at the front? And that all integrates with the trailer to form Ultra Magnus. That's because in the Diaclone line, he was Optimus Prime, he was Convoy. This was just a powered up version of him. The original toy carried that through, of course, and in the Diaclone incarnation he had these colours, and these are the colours he had in the original pitch for the Transformers film. I mentioned last time that you've got different colours for Galvatron based on how he looks in the comics and how he looks in the cartoon, and also different designs for the Matrix, that originally it looked a little bit like a sort of green parcel. And again, that all comes from that original promo movie where they were trying to get funding. In that movie we see Ultra Magnus, and he is designed exactly like this. So when Takara were looking for options to repaint this mold so they could go get a bit more money out of it, they created Delta Magnus out of those colours. The more you know. Alright then, enough with the jibber jabber. Let's get down to how you transform these meaty entities. So we're going to take his gun away, and that's just a little tab in the palm type thing. I'm going to fold that down, and that stores later on in his truck mode. I'm just going to pop it there so it's out of harm's way. What we are now going to do is we're going to come up to his arms. His arms are very similar to how they worked on the original toy. So they're on a little double hinge, so you're going to do that, and you're going to do that. And here as well, that and that, and you can see it's already started to come away. This is going to come out and fold round. This is going to come out and fold round. And you can leave him like that if you want, because that's absolutely hilarious. I will not lie, that is absolutely f***ing hilarious. Let's stretch these out and give ourselves a little bit of room to work. Now, on the original toy, the arms were kind of telescopic. They slid up and down and over, under, and in and out. On this version, if I show you at the back there, they've actually got a little foldy bit. So what we're going to do is open the top bit up there, and a little clippy bit, so this folds up and away, and now we can bring the whole lot down around like that. It's good, isn't it? What we're now going to do is we're going to take his rocket shoulder doodly whatchamajig, and you see how that all comes out on one panel. We have a tab here, we have a slot there, slot, tab, so that goes in like that and just holds into place with friction. And then we're going to take his missile launcher and clip that on top so it's facing forwards. Isn't that nice? We're going to take this bit, fold it round, and that's got a little peg and a hole, so that's going to help hold him together when we get to the other side. So let's start bringing him, laying him flat, because that's how he's going to be in the end, obviously. This is on a double hinge, so we're going to move it up, forward like that, and that will then clip into place. Lovely. And then when it comes to his hand, up at the back, here, what we're going to do with his hand is we're going to open this beastie up, so it splits down the middle, fold up his hand, and then collapse these around it, like that. Ta-da! And that's one side, all done. There you go. So now both arms are done and they're looking pretty tasty. You'll notice here we've got a little gap, so we can fill that in just by pressing this bit, and that pops out a little panel up in here. Which we can bring down, and that will fill in that gap nicely. Spin. And the same thing over here. That goes in, that comes down, clips into place. Lovely. And as mentioned, these guys are going to join together here. Bada bing, and here. Bada boom. Lovely. What we're going to do first of all is we're going to take these bits, pull them down, round and up. Lovely. We'll do the same thing over on, hey, he slides incredibly well. Do the same thing over on this side, down, round, up and in. And now we're going to go to the underside. We're going to take these bits and start folding them out and around, and out and around, like that. What we can now do is flip these bits up, and these bits up, and then these side bits are going to go up one, and up two, and they clip into place nicely. You see on the inside of his legs there and there, we have two little interlocking sets of teeth. Ooh, straighten his legs out. Come on. There you go. And these will now join together. Boop. And come on. Boop. Love it. Spin him around again. So you can see how the carrier is starting to take shape now. These bits we're going to fold out around, and they are eventually going to tab into this bit here. Same thing on both sides. I'm going to fold up the back, so we haven't done that for a hot second. So we are down to the very last part, apart from, squidging everything together and making sure it's all everything where it should be. We are going to form the cab. Now originally the cab was separate. As I say, it was a little Optimus Prime figure. We don't have that here. The cab actually is formed by Magnus's back. So we unfold the back. We open that bit where all the faces go. So what we're now going to do, you see, is if we come to Magnus's head, this is going to have to slide backwards, like that. That will then unlock his chest, which I can get in here. So that was Magnus's chest in robot mode. We can get in and lift that out, and you can see how that's going to become part of the tractor trailer up at the front. It's clever, isn't it? We can then come to the side here and ping out these here wheelies. There's one on each side. Like that. And we're going to come to the cab up front. And we're going to do that. And we're going to do, come on, so this little side panel, just going to untab, pull out, and then roll up like that, and then collapse back in. Isn't that lovely? We can then take this bit here, which comes up and around, clips in, and clips in. And when the top bit goes down, that locks the entirety of it into position. Super duper. What we're going to do now is we're just going to come to the underside, and we're going to push this little switch here. What that allows you to do is to separate the tractor from the trailer. Very clever. Very, very, very clever. What we're going to do on the tractor is we're going to grab his exhaust pipes, spin them round, spin them round. I'm going to spin Magnus's head around as well because it's staring at me otherwise. There we go. And then the last thing that we're going to do up here on the cab, we're going to take a wing mirror and a wing mirror. And that's it. That's his tractor bit all sorted out. That's clever. That is really, really clever. I'm going to put this to one side. And we're going to finish up with the car transporter trailer here. So I've knocked a couple of things out just where I was manhandling it. So let's clip his legs back together. And what we're going to do for one last part of the puzzle here, we're going to take his hip. So this was his like front hip in robot mode. And we're just going to ping that round and slot it in. Nice. We're going to take this top bit here, so what was his arms, and we're going to tab the top of his boot into the arm, boot into arm, and close this back up. There we go, that's clipped together now. Make sure that's all squeezed together, that's all squeezed together. We're then going to come here, and what you do is you sort of bend it out, in, and then, oh, it didn't quite go. There we are, that's one side. And then we're going to do the same think over here. That's that. Make sure it's all slotted in nicely. Good, good. How are we doing? How are we doing? So this bit isn't quite straight. Let's sort that out. I'm just going through and making sure everything lines up, everything's where it should be. That is about it. Make sure these missiles are nice and straight. And that's it. That's the car transporter sorted. We can reattach the cab just by finding the peg and clicking it down. And there you have it. Ultra Magnus in his car transporter form. You can get the cab to turn, it's just a little bit of a clearance issue going on there. But yeah, that's him. Isn't that lovely? And what we can do then is take his gun, and his gun will go in the top here. If I show you, you see, I'm just going to break the transformation to do this. We've got a hole and a tab, and that corresponds to this here in the gun. So we are going to do that. Line it up on both sides. Feed it in here. To close up then. That's good. That's where it should be. Right, that's got it. That's got it. It was just playing silly buggers for a minute. Squeeze, squeeze. Close, close. Come on. These were originally his hip panels, so let's make sure they're as wide as they can get. Come on, there we are. And that's him, Ultra Magnus, all transformed, ready for battle. And there are the two figures side by side, and yeah, they're really, really nice. Let's take Ultra Magnus out of the picture for a moment. And we'll use Delta Magnus to give you a quick tour of the vehicle mode. So, as before, we've got some lovely detailing. There's a nice raised Autobot symbol there, that's the one from his shoulder. There's also a ton of metal going on with these guys, so none in the cab, obviously, because that's all plastic and has to fold away and whatever. These bits down here at the back where like his toes are, that's metal. This whole section in here that forms part of his back, and remember we said there's no like waist twist or anything like that, it's because this here is one big metal section as well. And that's nice, it gives him some weight. He's a nice heavy character. There's room enough on the car transporter for you to be able to fold the back gate things down. And you can fit like Hound or Sunstreaker or any of the other Masterpiece Autobot cars in there, which is really nice. Fold these back up. So I can confirm that on Delta Magnus here, the cab has no problem whatsoever twisting either left or right and clearing the trailer bogey when it does. So it's only Ultra Magnus here that's doing that, and I think that might just be my copy. So I don't know, I could probably shave something down and have it working, but it doesn't bother me that much. Okay, so yeah, I think they're pretty awesome. If I had to find fault with them, I don't know. Really, they're pretty dang good. I mean, these are a bit fiddly, but to be honest, it's so impressive that all these panels actually come together and form such a solid cab mode. You would expect this to be flimsy as fuck, but it's not. It's really solid. That's really clever and very impressive. The level of detail is nice. I like the fact there's a little space in each figure to be able to hold the matrix. That's funky. It's compatible with all the other Masterpiece figures since, oh lordy, when did they change scale? It was like Masterpiece 10 or something, wasn't it? I lose track. But yeah, it's a really great pair of figures. I got this one in Ginza in Tokyo, and this one was a Christmas gift from a couple of years back. I'm not sure what their status is on like eBay on the second-hand market, but to be honest, I think you'll be happy with either of these if you don't have them. So if you can't find one, just grab the other one. They're absolutely awesome. So that concludes this little review. Anything you want to know, drop me a thing in the comments. Let me know what you reckon. If you like this, drop me a follow and a like, because it really helps tiny little channels like this get some traction. Otherwise, you have a wonderful week, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.